Okay, so in all the things you are, we're going C, D half diminished, G altered, back to C.
Well, no, this is softly as a marked
I'm
song.
sorry. Okay, softly as a, okay.
Okay, so we've really kind of come up with three target notes. The thirds on the D half diminished, which is the F, the third on the G7, which is a B, and then the fifth on the C minor 7.
Okay.
That was one solution, all eighth notes. Here's our target note. A couple other. I forget the exact one that you came up with.
To D. To G. Okay.
The other idea we were working on was over taking the core notes of the melody and then starting to embellish on that. One idea I had was to augment rhythmically, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, changing those two core melody notes from half notes to the first one being a whole note, really. Well, but then we said, let's make it a dotted quarter, a dotted half, and take up 3 beats. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then we said, let's approach that from something. 1, 2, 3, and what did we decide? 1, 2, 3. And then we came up with 1, 2, kind of thinking backwards. 1 and 2 and 3. I like that a little bit better. And then we said, oops, 1 and 2 and so taking the idea of these core melody notes. So that idea, use that same concept instead of going, the second time coming around, I just used a C Dorian, a C natural minor scale, and then landed on the 1 of the C minor. So it didn't just start on that note, made that into, played, surrounded that C, and then went right to the second target note, and then just went on down the C minor scale because it seemed like the natural thing to do. Our idea there. Okay, so the idea is to work some of these things out, then work them into your solos. Ultimately work on variations of the variations. And the two ways I would practice this would be to make writing exercises out of it, like we were doing here. And, remember, that started out very simple. That started out just with, and you can think rhythmically, it started out just with making that whole note a dotted half. 1, 2, 3. But the funny thing is now that I said A, I like that as an A flat better. And sometimes when you work on these things, you come back and something strikes you that, okay, I don't. Even though I was putting that A in my voicing melodically, so that would change my voicing. I'd go back to using just a regular C minor. So that was our core idea. 1, 2, 3. I don't like the B flat, so then I'm doing an approach tone on the and of 3 to that A flat. And one of the ones we had was 2, 3. 2, 3. I don't like that. I kind of like that F there. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you know, connecting material arpeggios are really good. You know, especially when you're doing arpeggios like I did an arpeggio there. Okay, I wasn't really thinking of a target note so much, but so many times, because I've practiced this kind of stuff a lot, my lines will just want to lead naturally to resolving on a chord tone. You just start hearing the stuff that way after a while, and that helps you outline the chords. Reverse the instead of
So I can just go back and forth, C, D, G, C, D, G, and just get in a group and try to come up with different stuff.
Yeah, experiment. And but like I say, I think there's the two ways of practicing this. One time, I think the writing exercises are really good. Like I say, all of a sudden in doing this, I found that, to me, that what the hell did I do? I'm like, this looks like gibberish to me. What the heck was I writing? I had it upside down. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and 5. 1, 2, 1 and 2. I kind of like the A flat there better. Right now. Maybe tomorrow I'd like the A again, you know, and you can always mess with this stuff. I mean, essentially what you're doing is composing.
And back here, this was just the B flat.
That's just the rhythmic schematic that we kind of started with.
But we're doing our surround sound landing on G there, right?
Right.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, so probably A flat to F sharp just surrounds the G. So
you know, we
that's
probably did this on the blues at some point, or maybe we didn't. Where a lot of times when I have students, I'll say just play the third of each chord through a blues. So if you're playing 12-bar blues with bebop changes, just go through the first 4 bars, and then one approach tone. And there I used all half notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 approach tones. Okay,
yeah, that's nice.
3 approach tones. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1 and 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, sorry, let's not play this. At some point you can do 1 and 2 and 3. I'm trying to think. It's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1 and 2, 3, and when you have 3 approach tones, then every time you have a measure with 2 chords in it, all you have is just all eighth notes in the measure, because, I mean, or all eighth notes work. You could do different things rhythmically, of course. You could go, but you can do just all eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3, 1, and then 3 approach tones to the next. So I'm on G minor, 2, 1 and 2 and 3. So approach tones, or my target notes, are B flat and E over that G minor and the C, and so you should really get good at milking the thirds, because those are the easiest ones. You know, and there's so many variations you can come up with, and you almost can't go wrong, because it's going to sound consonant once you get to that third. 1 and 2. I'm just trying to be dissonant, but it doesn't sound that out, because I'm just trying different things kind of to be weird, to show you can get back to that. And so
Okay.